The decision that shook the NBA. The NBA just witnessed a move so unbelievable that even Philadelphia's own players could barely process it. LeBron James is reportedly heading to the 76 ERS, and the reaction inside that locker room says everything about how massive this moment could become. Tyrese Maxey was in the middle of a workout when his phone started exploding with notifications. At first, he ignored it. Then he finally looked down, read the news, and completely lost control. The weights stopped moving. The workout was over. Maxey turned toward the camera and screamed like someone who had just watched his team win Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But this was not simply a young star celebrating another roster move. Maxey had reportedly spent weeks helping recruit LeBron, using a relationship built through years of off-season workouts and mutual trust. His reaction was emotional because this was personal. He did not just hear the news, he helped make the news happen. Joel Embiid's response was different. There was no wild celebration at first, only shock. For Embiid, this moment had been more than a decade in the making, long before he became an MVP, before the injuries, playoff disappointments, and constant pressure. He had publicly dreamed about LeBron joining Philadelphia. Now that dream was suddenly becoming real. Jaylen Brown, still adjusting to his own dramatic arrival in Philadelphia, reacted with confidence. The message was simple: throw the ball up. J. Edgecombe responded with a meme, capturing the feeling of a young player who could hardly believe he might share a locker room with the NBA's all-time leading scorer. And that is what makes this story bigger than a normal signing. Philadelphia was never supposed to win this race. Miami had history. Cleveland had emotion. Golden State had the fantasy pairing with Stephen Curry, yet somehow the Sixers went from an afterthought to LeBron's chosen destination. Now the league is asking one question: did Philadelphia just create the NBA's next championship super team, or the most dangerous experiment of LeBron's career? Where are you watching from today? Comment your city or country below. Press 1 if you believe LeBron and the Sixers can win the championship, or press 2 if you think injuries and chemistry will destroy the dream, and subscribe to the channel because this story is only beginning. How Philadelphia stole the spotlight. For most of the offseason, Philadelphia was treated like background noise. Every conversation about LeBron James seemed to begin with Miami. Cleveland or Golden State, Miami offered history and familiarity. Cleveland offered one final emotional homecoming. Golden State offered the dream pairing fans had imagined for years: LeBron James and Stephen Curry chasing one last championship together. Philadelphia did not appear to have that same emotional advantage. The Sixers had tried to enter the LeBron conversation before, but those efforts never became serious enough to change the league. Back in 2018, LeBron did not even personally attend the meeting between his representatives and Philadelphia's front office. That history made the latest rumors seem like another unrealistic fantasy. Then the entire picture changed. The turning point was not a dramatic speech from an executive, it was the arrival of Jaylen Brown. Once Philadelphia added a proven champion and former Finals MVP to a roster that already included Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, the Sixers stopped looking like a desperate organization hoping for attention. They started looking like a team built for one purpose: winning immediately. That distinction mattered to LeBron. At this stage of his career, patience was no longer part of the equation. He was not searching for a rebuilding project, a long-term experiment, or a franchise that needed several seasons to become competitive. He needed a roster capable of surviving a playoff series right now. Brown gave Philadelphia another elite scorer, an aggressive perimeter defender, and a player who already understood the pressure of championship basketball. Maxey brought speed, energy, and offensive freedom. Embiid, when healthy, remained one of the most dominant forces in the league. Suddenly, Philadelphia could offer LeBron something the other contenders could not: a roster where he would not need to carry every possession, defend every elite opponent, or rescue the team every fourth quarter. The Sixers were no longer asking LeBron to save them. They were asking him to complete them. Tyrese Maxey became the closer. The most important recruiter in Philadelphia was not the team president, the head coach, or even Joel Embiid. It was Tyrese Maxey. That may sound surprising considering Maxey is younger than nearly every major figure involved in the decision, but his influence did not come from age, authority, or front office power. It came from trust. For years, Maxey and LeBron had crossed paths during off-season workouts. Those sessions were not public recruiting meetings. They were hours spent inside quiet gyms, competing through drills, discussing basketball. and developing mutual respect away from camera. By the time LeBron reached free agency, Maxey was not introducing himself as a stranger. He was speaking as someone LeBron already knew. That changed the nature of Philadelphia's pitch. Maxey could explain what the organization felt like from inside the locker room. He could describe Nick Nurse's coaching, Embiid's mentality, Brown's arrival, and the opportunity waiting in the Eastern Conference. More importantly, he could speak honestly about how much LeBron would be needed without pretending the team had no flaws. The Sixers reportedly stayed aggressive throughout the process, but Maxey became the emotional center of their campaign. He communicated consistently and made it clear that Philadelphia was not simply interested in LeBron's name. The players genuinely wanted him beside them. That is why Maxey's celebration felt so real when the news finally arrived. He was in the gym when his phone began buzzing. Once he saw the announcement, all the calm disappeared. He screamed, laughed, and compared himself to a legendary college recruiter who always seemed capable of landing the biggest stars. Behind the humor was something deeper. Maxey understood what had just happened. Years of relationship building had produced the greatest recruiting victory of his career. He had convinced one of basketball's most powerful figures to trust Philadelphia with the final stage of his journey, but recruiting LeBron was only the first victory. Maxey would now face another challenge, learning how to share control with a player who has dominated offensive systems for more than 2 decades. Their friendship opened the door. Their chemistry will determine whether Philadelphia walks through it. Embiid's promise changed everything. Joel Embiid had wanted this moment for years, long before he became an MVP. Before Philadelphia built an entire championship plan around him, Embiid had publicly invited LeBron James to join the Sixers. At the time, the message felt playful. Embiid was young, injured, and still waiting to prove that his body could survive an NBA season. More than a decade later, the same dream returned under completely different circumstances. This time, Embiid was not recruiting LeBron with joke. He was reportedly offering a promise. The biggest concern surrounding Philadelphia was obvious. It was not talent. It was not star power. It was not coaching. It was Embiid's health. His availability had become the central question hanging over every Sixers season. Philadelphia could look unstoppable when he was on the floor, but injuries repeatedly interrupted momentum and changed playoff expectations. LeBron knew that history, everyone around the league knew it. According to the story, Embiid confronted that concern directly. He stayed in contact with LeBron throughout the process and reportedly vowed to do everything possible to prepare his body for the demands of the season. That promise carried enormous weight. LeBron was not deciding whether to join a normal contender. He was deciding whether to spend one of his final seasons depending on a superstar whose health had repeatedly failed at the worst possible moments. Embiid could not erase that risk, but he could show accountability. He could tell LeBron that he understood what was at stake. For Embiid, this opportunity may represent the strongest supporting cast of his career. Maxey provides explosive guard play, Brown offers championship experience and two-way toughness. LeBron brings leadership, control, and an unmatched understanding of playoff pressure, but the entire structure still depends on Embiid being available when the games become most important. That is the uncomfortable truth behind Philadelphia's celebration. The Sixers may have won the recruitment, but Embiid must now win the battle against his own history. If he keeps his promise, Philadelphia could become nearly impossible to match. If his body breaks down again, the most exciting roster in basketball could become another painful chapter of missed opportunity. The old drama followed them into the locker room. The celebration did not erase the past. Almost immediately after LeBron's decision became public, fans began searching through old posts, interviews, jokes, and arguments involving his new teammates. Social media transformed what should have been a simple welcome into a collection of uncomfortable memories. Joel Embiid had previously made comments questioning LeBron's place within Lakers history. Old debates resurfaced about whether Los Angeles would always belong to Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant, no matter what LeBron accomplished there. Statements that once felt like ordinary competitive talk suddenly sounded different now that the two stars were preparing to share a locker room. Jaylen Brown also carried history into the situation. He had competed against LeBron, challenged teams built around him, and existed on the opposite side of several heated conversations. Fans began joking that Philadelphia might need a private meeting before training camp just to clear the air. That reaction was predictable. The NBA never forgets anything. A comment made years earlier can return the moment circumstances change. Rivalries become partnerships. Criticism becomes motivation. Players who once tried to eliminate one another from the playoffs suddenly have to trust each other in the final minutes of close games. However, The emotional reactions after the signing suggested that Philadelphia's stars were prepared to move forward. Embiid looked overwhelmed by the news. Brown reacted with confidence. Maxey celebrated without hesitation. The locker room did not appear divided. Still, public excitement is easier than private chemistry. Real pressure changes relationships. What happens when LeBron controls the ball during a possession Embiid believes should run through him? What happens when Brown wants a larger offensive role? What happens when Maxey must sacrifice touches after becoming one of the league's fastest rising guards? Those are not reasons the experiment must fail. They are simply the challenges every super team must solve. The Sixers do not need their stars to become best friends. They need clear roles, honest communication, and enough respect to survive difficult moments. Without turning frustration into conflict, the old comments will provide entertainment for fans. The new conversations inside the locker room will decide whether this team survives. LeBron was closer to the end than anyone realized. The most emotional part of the entire story was not Philadelphia's celebration. It was the possibility that LeBron nearly walked away from basketball completely. After another demanding season, the physical and emotional weight of his career reportedly became impossible to ignore. For more than 2 decades, LeBron had lived under expectations no player had ever carried for so long. Every season became another debate about his age, his legacy, his teammates, his leadership, and whether he could still compete at the highest level. Eventually, even one of the game's strongest minds began questioning whether the desire was still there. According to the sample's narrative, LeBron admitted that he believed he might have played his final game. He did not immediately announce retirement because he needed time to understand what he still wanted from basketball. That uncertainty made his decision more meaningful. This was not simply another free agency move designed to create headline. It represented a choice between ending his career and accepting one final challenge. Philadelphia gave him a reason to continue because the roster offered something powerful enough to restore his competitive hunger. He no longer needed another scoring wreck. He no longer needed another massive contract. His place in basketball history had already been secured. What remained was the possibility of one more championship run. That is why the reported financial sacrifice became central to the story. LeBron was described as choosing a smaller contract because he valued roster strength over maximizing his final paycheck. The message was clear. This decision was supposed to be about winning, not wealth. Philadelphia offered a new fan base, a new locker room, and one final opportunity to prove that his influence could still change the direction of a franchise. But there is also pressure hidden inside that motivation. When a player believes he may be entering the final chapter, every setback feels heavier. Every injury matters more. Every playoff loss becomes harder to recover from because there may not be another season waiting afterward. LeBron did not choose the easiest ending. He chose the most dramatic one available. Why the Eastern Conference mattered. Philadelphia's roster was not the only factor influencing the decision. Geography mattered, and so did the competitive landscape. The Western Conference had become a brutal collection of young contenders, established stars, deep rosters, and dangerous playoff matchups. Surviving 4 rounds in the West demanded physical endurance, constant adjustments, and almost no margin for error. For an aging superstar, that challenge could become even more exhausting. The Eastern Conference offered a different path. That did not mean the East would be easy. No route to the NBA Finals is simple, especially for a team carrying major health concerns, but compared with the depth and physical pressure waiting in the West, Philadelphia could reasonably believe that its championship window would be more manageable. LeBron understood playoff structure better than almost anyone. He knew that winning a title was not only about creating the strongest possible starting lineup, it was also about placing that lineup in the best possible environment, with Embiid protecting the paint, Brown defending elite wings, Maxey attacking in transition, and LeBron controlling the pace. Philadelphia could create matchup problems for nearly every opponent in the conference. The Sixers could play fast through Maxey or slow the game down through Embiid. They could use Brown as a secondary scorer and defensive weapon. LeBron could reduce his regular season workload, conserve energy, and become the organizer during the most important moments. At least, that is the vision. The danger is that the roster may look stronger on paper than it performs in reality. Injuries and role adjustments could prevent Philadelphia from building rhythm. A team designed to dominate the playoffs still has to survive the regular season together. There is also the question of depth. Super teams often concentrate their resources at the top, leaving the bench vulnerable when injuries arrive. Philadelphia's stars may attract all the attention, but role players will still have to defend, shoot, rebound, and survive the minutes. When the biggest names rest, LeBron may have chosen the East because it offered a clearer path. But a clearer path is not the same thing as a guaranteed destination. Philadelphia turned a signing into a citywide event. The reaction spread far beyond the Sixers locker room. Philadelphia did not treat LeBron's arrival like an ordinary transaction. The city reacted as though a championship parade had already been scheduled. Former players, current athlete, public figures, and fans all joined the celebration. Allen Iverson's excitement carried special, meaning he understood what it meant to become the face of basketball in Philadelphia. He had carried the franchise through unforgettable playoff battles and built a permanent connection with the city. Seeing him welcome, LeBron created a symbolic bridge between two different eras of NBA greatness. The excitement also moved across sport. Philadelphia Eagles stars joined the conversation, welcoming LeBron to one of the most passionate sports environments in America. Saquon Barkley had already discussed the possibility of LeBron choosing Philadelphia and reportedly invited him to the golf course once the move became public. That response showed why the city itself may have become part of the pitch. Philadelphia fans are demanding they criticize mistakes, remember playoff failures, and expect stars to compete with visible intensity. That pressure can become uncomfortable, but it can also create the type of energy LeBron appeared to be searching for. He was not choosing a quiet ending. He was choosing a city that would treat every regular season game like evidence in a championship trial. The signing reportedly became so significant that political leaders joined the celebration, transforming basketball news into a statewide moment. Whether that level of excitement was excessive did not matter. It demonstrated how quickly LeBron's decision changed the emotional temperature of the region. However, excitement creates expectations. Philadelphia will not be satisfied with a competitive season or a respectable playoff run. Once a team adds LeBron James to Embiid, Maxey, and Brown, the standard becomes a championship. Anything less will feel like failure. That pressure will follow the team into every national television game, every losing streak, and every injury report. Philadelphia wanted the attention. Now it must survive everything that comes with it. The super team has one terrifying weakness. On paper, Philadelphia may possess the most frightening collection of stars in the league. LeBron brings control, intelligence, and playoff leadership. Embiid offers dominant interior scoring and rim protection. Brown provides athleticism, defense, and championship experience. Maxey gives the team speed and explosive shot creation. Edgecombe represents youth, energy, and another layer of upside. But every super team has a weakness. Philadelphia's weakness is availability. The Sixers cannot win the championship imagined in this story unless their best players are healthy at the same time. That sounds obvious, but for Philadelphia, it has become the defining issue of an entire era. Embiid's injuries have repeatedly changed the direction of playoff series. Even when he has played, he has sometimes entered the postseason carrying physical limitations that reduced his effectiveness. LeBron, despite his remarkable longevity, can no longer be expected to recover like a player in his 20s. Brown and Maxey may also face heavier responsibilities if either superstar misses time. Nick Nurse will have to manage the regular season carefully. He may need to limit minutes, stagger lineups, and accept short-term losses to protect the team's long-term health. That approach can frustrate fans, but Philadelphia's goal cannot be to dominate January. It must be ready in April, May, and June. Chemistry presents another challenge. The Sixers will need to decide who closes games, who sacrifices shots, and how the offense functions when opponents force the ball away from the preferred matchup. LeBron has traditionally operated best when the game moves through his decisions. Embiid is most dangerous when the offense gives him time and space to attack. Maxey thrives with pace and freedom. Brown is at his best when he can play aggressively instead of waiting in the corner. Combining those strengths will require discipline. If Philadelphia solves the health question and accepts sacrifice, the roster could become historically dangerous. But if injuries return and roles become unclear, the same lineup that inspired championship dreams could collapse under the weight of its own expectations. The final chapter will be defined by sacrifice. Philadelphia's bold experiment offers a lesson that reaches beyond basketball. Talent can open the door, but sacrifice determines who walks through it together. The Sixers did the difficult part of recruiting LeBron James by building relationships before they needed them. Maxey's years of offseason work created trust. Embiid confronted the biggest concerns surrounding his career and reportedly promised greater commitment to his health. Brown's arrival transformed Philadelphia from an uncertain option into a legitimate championship destination. That strategy was powerful because it was personal. Front offices can offer contracts, explain salary structure, and present long-term plans. Players can offer something different. They can describe the pressure of the locker room, the honesty of the coaching staff, and the emotional purpose behind the season. Philadelphia succeeded because the recruitment became a shared mission. Now, the same idea must guide the team on the court. LeBron cannot be expected to rescue every possession. Embiid cannot allow frustration or physical setbacks to disconnect him from the group. Maxey may need to surrender touches without losing confidence. Brown must accept that some nights his greatest contribution will come through defense rather than scoring. Championship teams are rarely peaceful because they avoid difficult conversation. They become strong because they handle those conversations with respect. That is the humane lesson inside this story. Greatness does not require humiliation, hostility, or personal destruction. Competition can remain intense without becoming cruel. Teammates can challenge each other without turning disagreement into hatred. Old comments and rivalries do not have to define new relationships. The Sixers should not focus on proving every critic wrong. They should focus on keeping one another healthy, accountable, and united. If that happens, LeBron's final chapter could end with one of the most unexpected championships in NBA history. If it does not, Philadelphia will become another reminder that super teams are built through headlines, but tested through sacrifice. Do you believe this team can finish the journey? Comment 1 if you believe Philadelphia can win the championship, or 2 if you think health and chemistry will stop them. Tell us where you are watching from, and make sure you subscribe, like, and share so you do not miss the next major NBA story.